past is history, the future mystery. This moment is the gift. Every second
I am so excited that you guys are here. This is Dr. Sarah Larson. Have we got a treat for you? It's Greg Larson in studio with us at UBN, the oldest studio, Sunset Gower Studios in Hollywood. And we are bringing on our date, you guys, and some of our favorite people on the planet. It's so exciting to share this time with you and to bring to you some of the most heartfelt, authentic loves. Welcome, baby.
Thank you, my love, and welcome, Miracle Makers. This is such an exciting day for us today because we depart for Egypt for 2 weeks later this afternoon. So we are just like, my whole body is vibrating at a different level. And part of me has been in Egypt already the last few weeks as we've been preparing for this journey. And today we depart. And all I know is the next few weeks are going to be miracle after miracle, sunset after sunset, temple after temple, kiss after kiss.
And we want you to have the miraculous life. And that's why we go out and we find the most miraculous guests that we can find to bring in studio. We want you to travel to the ends of the earth with your beloveds and to enjoy every moment as the miracle it is. We've got in studio with us. It's incredible. It's even hard sometimes to wrap our heads around the friendships that we have in our lives. And my dear brother, Ken Sheetz, is in studio with us. Ken and I have been on a journey for many years now. 2010 is when we started. Ken is a Chicago businessman, worked in millions of dollars, left that industry to come to Hollywood to make movies, is a movie maker now, and works to bring the planet in alignment with its harmonies. So Ken, you built Harpo Studios, Oprah's studio. You actually went to high school with Oprah Winfrey as well.
Briefly, she was there for 3 months.
You've had...
She was a cute girl in the hallway. I'm like, hello.
Hello. You're an incredible being. You built the largest buildings in Chicago at one time.
It wasn't the largest, but it was certainly the first of a spectacular collapse of Chicago real estate. Every building in Chicago went back to the lender in the 1990s, and mine was the first.
And you took that and you've read the signals as allowing you to wake up to your next dream, which was being a Hollywood filmmaker. Along your journey, and we're going to talk so intimately with you about all of the steps, all of these miraculous things that have happened, and the latest miracles, the coolest meditation ever, and that work that you're working on. Along your journey, you met up with, it's so incredible, one of our dearest friends as well.
It's all part of the family.
Yeah, isn't it amazing?
Yeah. It's an amazing journey. Your love story is a miracle story in itself. The story of the films that you make is just miraculous as well. We've got in studio Ken Sheetz' partner, our dear friend, Elizabeth England.
Love you guys. Good to see you.
You're the first to announce that officially on the air. Whoa.
We're so blessed. And she is a powerhouse herself.
Yes.
Ocean-nation.org that raises awareness to the oceans. Yeah. Both of you together are working on some miraculous amazing things. And today, for the miracle makers that are listening, we're going to have for you tips on how to leave the old behind and to step into what is powerfully calling you into being. We're also going to talk very candidly about what it feels like to be vulnerable in love. And to invite the miracles that can come from that story. And then we're going to just bring you in and share with you some of the greatest projects that are occurring out in the world right now. Because if you want to feel and know the movement that's occurring, you bring some of these tools into your environment. It's incredible what can happen.
Yeah, and you know what I want really the miracle makers to listen for today is that as we were talking about earlier this week, and we were talking about with Ken and Elizabeth earlier before that we started recording, is that we live past lives. Ken's past life in Chicago was like completely different from what his life is today. And so if you are still attached to your past life, if there's still cords that keep you trapped in your past life, you're not able to receive the miracles that are like, God is like got buckets and heaps. He's got bags. He's like trying to shower you with miracles.
Yes.
And if you're living in your past life, you're unable to receive those.
And
so listen today for that and see if there's something for you to let go of the life you had so you can embrace the life that's waiting for you.
That's beautiful, Greg. Yeah.
I want to just bring in a little poem by Rumi, which will...
beautiful.
This is The Guest House. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes in as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes because each has been sent to you as a guide from beyond. And this is Rumi. And I know that incorporates so much. And Ken, so could you start with what your past life was like and the feelings that you had, just so we can get the depth of millions of dollars. And here we are. Here's where you started, what you had to let go, and what came in.
Well, I married very young and needed to sort of give up my dream of being an interior architect to be more profit-making driven real estate career that I was recruited out of the design business by one of my clients, a guy named Wes Irvine, who built the Sears Tower, which is now called Willis Tower, and leased it up, and 4 million square feet. His name is on Wacker Drive. Wes Irvine recruited me, and I became, within a year, Chicago's #1 commercial real estate broker. I just took to it like a duck to water. And I was doing all the big corporate headquarters, doing major law firm leases. I did over $1 billion worth of commercial leases. And the Chicago Sun-Times, I was their darling. And the Chicago Tribune loved me too. I'd be on the cover of the real estate section all the time, leasing this building or that building. I did a 99-year lease, which is going to be still going for a long time, for Chase Bank on LaSalle and Madison, the very heart of the city. So right in the heart of the city is my biggest lease that I ever did. And with that lease, I bought a mansion in Lake Forest for me and my wife, who was my childhood sweetheart from college days. And everything was just going so beautifully. But I was slowly, my heart was closing more and more. I would literally walk down the street of Chicago, and one of the brokers that was competing with me would walk up and say, "Ken, you have to let other people have some of the business. You can't have it all." And I was like, "Well, that's tough, buddy." I said, "You got to work harder, So I literally was just dominating the city, One day I got a call from Oprah Winfrey's lawyer, said they had heard about me and they wondered if I would take over the development of her new Harpo Studios. And I had one meeting, with Oprah and her president, Jeffrey Jacobs, and was hired on the spot, literally in the meeting, and was running the project the next day. And it was a $28 million project she funded out of her personal checking account. There was no bank loan. It was the weirdest real estate deal I ever worked on. She wound up doing all those things later, getting a mortgage and all that later, which is the perfect bargaining position to be in. I had a party, and Oprah was invited, and she didn't come, and I was so offended. I can just remember being there with my ex-wife and saying, "Can you believe Oprah didn't come to this party? How dare she?" And there was one time she kept me waiting in the reception room for 20 minutes, and I was going to leave. It was just like, so I had a huge ego at that point because I didn't even know what the word failure meant. And suddenly, in 1991, Sears left Chicago, and that big building that my buddy who recruited me became empty overnight. And there was my building was opening exactly at that time. And they were just giving space away for free. You could literally move into the Sears Tower and not pay rent for 10 years. You were just paying taxes and operating expenses. So how do you make a mortgage on a building work when you can't get rent? And so my bank loan went out of balance. It was Barclays Bank, a big British bank that was lending us the money. And they've been whining and dining me for years. And suddenly I got to meet their workout department. And this guy called me one day and he said, "Ken, this is Tom over at the bank. We want to come to your home and photograph everything you own because we're going to take everything, right down to your clothing. We're going to take it all." And I said, "Well, I think you have to kind of wait a while, to be sure you get a sheriff along with you because I'm not letting you in my house to photograph shit." And I said, "Take my word for it. By the time this is over, you guys will be paying me to get out of this deal." I said, and I did. I did something no one's ever done before in a foreclosure like that. I actually asked for a $250,000 check to be paid off because it was in the middle of the deal. We were still 3 months away from opening the project. All my fees had been thrown out the window. They wouldn't pay any of the contractors. They were making it fail. I mean, the project was beautiful, and it's a beautiful building. It's completely full today. It was bought by Sam Zell, who eventually would buy the LA Times here. He had a venture capital fund called a Vulture Fund that came in and bought the building from Barclays Bank. And I'm like, couldn't you work out a deal with me? Couldn't you restructure the loan? What did you have to go through all this mishmash for? And they do that today with banks. They do that rather than nuke the people that created the project. But I was the poster boy all of a sudden for failure. I was the biggest real estate failure in Chicago. I went from being, Mr. Golden to being the guy that, had to give his keys back to the bank. And I took it very hard. And I was a bear to live with for my poor wife and my kids, and I wound up getting divorced. I lost everything. I got that $250, but that went to pay. I had to do that, otherwise I'd be bankrupt. So that went to pay off a lot of expenses, and there was nothing left, And I'd worked for 3 years building this building, nothing to show for it. At the same time, Oprah Winfrey's project is opening, and I become the developer of the year at the same time. So the paradoxes that were happening. But in my mind, all I could focus on was the failure of this loan, which had really nothing to do with me personally. I did everything right. But I took it super hard, and I went into like a deep, dark depression about it all. I can remember standing on the shores of Lake Michigan on this icy winter, and I was like, I could just hop in here and it'd be all over in a few minutes, But then I decided, no, wait, let's just say this is the end of that life. And I walked back from the beach, and I was like, I want to start a new life. And I looked at my arts background, which I'd never really done anything with, and how much I loved film, and how it was something that being able to raise money. My nickname in Chicago was Money. That was my nickname, Money. And knowing how to raise money, because I raised $162 million for that skyscraper in 6 months, was a marketable skill that I could use in film work. I thought I had seen Lakeshore Entertainment, which was founded by a real estate guy, do so well. Of course, they won many Oscars by now. And I thought, Oprah, all this stuff, it's a sign. That's where for me to go. So I went to Hollywood. I raised $500,000 from all my real estate buddies.
Beautiful.
Who were happy to see me, do something else for a while, so that they could have some of the business. And I went off to Hollywood and set up my studios and hit the wall. Wow. I met some of the biggest Spyglass Entertainment. Roger Birnbaum was introduced to me. I was really with all the right people. Jeffrey Jacobs, Oprah's president, tried to introduce me to CAA. They said, Jeffrey, you're not a talent scout. We know who the good people are. So I had all these introductions, from super high level people, but it just didn't seem to go well.
Thank you for sharing that story. And I love how you created a ceremony to bury your past life. On an intuitive, knowing level. You knew going to the water, releasing it, and even imagining this could be it. And with part of your imagination, creating this is it, and walking back out into the new life. You wound up in Hollywood. You wound up making, and I love your films. I've been so blessed to see a few of those. I know that you're working on an amazing project right now as well with all of that talent, but you had to leave Hollywood behind as well.
I had to go independent. Yeah.
Yeah.
The big studio was not open to me. Not personally. I didn't take it personally because I think you have to earn your way up in that system. From a production assistant as a kid. So they don't like people just coming in all of a sudden. They don't care how much money you have.
Yeah.
Money was not really important. Connections were important.
I love the meditation that you wound up filming in Italy as one of the final projects that set you and showed you the new life that you were coming into. Not only did you leave the life in Chicago, you came to Hollywood, you're working in the industry, and then you've created some incredible visions, movies, projects, but then you're called to Italy.
Yes, well, that was 2010, and of course, at this very dark point in my life where I've failed in Hollywood, failed in Chicago, I was pretty low, and I went to this it's called Soul Drama. Connie Miller, Bradley Quick's friend,
yes,
another mutual friend of ours we could talk about all this hour, sent me in his place. And I was like, well, I've been to Italy. That's where I picked out all the marbles for my building. I was a big shot, a guest of the Italians, and in Tuscany, and at Michelangelo's studio where they used some of the marbles that came from my building. And I don't want to go there being a cameraman, just filming some people doing this silly workshop. But Connie talked me into it, and I was very cynical the whole thing because this was about getting in touch with your soul, and I hadn't been in touch with my soul for a long time. I had lost faith in God, in creation, whatever you want to call the force of the universe, and Connie invites me to lay down in this group healing that's being done by a healer named Julia, who's a very powerful Italian healer. It was her first group healing she was doing for people. And the night before with Julia, I had been talking about 2012 and the end of the Mayan calendar. And so that was on all of our minds. And as we're sitting there, I was like, it'd be really cool if I take this group energy, because I'd been studying some Reiki, and let's get everybody into a group healing together. And, all of a sudden, 3 7-foot-tall blue extraterrestrial beings came into the yoga hall in my vision, and I saw them join the energy of the group and put out a force field around the earth, which is made out of our dreams, called the Dream Shield.
Beautiful
that is so
blue
beautiful. Wow.
angels coming in and laying down these energies. I have a picture of this beautiful angel in Italy as well, in Sicily. Blue light, blue.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't know what to make of it, And so when I came back to the States, you were one of the first people I talked to about it. We talked on camera.
Yes.
And this about the blue light and all this, and that's one of our most popular videos on Buzz Bros on YouTube, BUZZBROZ on YouTube. Shortly thereafter, I would be doing an event on 1/1/1/1, right?
Yeah, it was 1/1/11, 2011.
Yeah.
It was a Dream Shield event, and Sarah was there, and it was.
You know, I've never shared the story. How did you find out about the event? And how did you decide to come with the Aros?
I was friends with Michelle Anderson, and we had Thanksgiving. Do you remember?
Yes.
And I was in that circle with my partner at that time, my business partner, Eros Christos. And we were invited to that event, and we were living, I think, in Laguna at that point. And so it was just a quick ride, and we came up for January 1st to do that amazing event. And that was, for me, since I was new in my awakening, that was really my big first shedding and creating new life for myself on a January 1st. 2011, and you were the host that
Sarah
day.
had everybody write stuff down on paper, and then we burned it in that fire at Laura's place.
We hosted a gathering for Dream Shield, and we purposely create these ceremonies in order to burn away the past life. Every moment is an opportunity to be reborn into all these possibilities. And the beautiful work that you were doing, and so having your energy as part of this ceremony, we've got on film this meeting and this energy, which is quite exciting.
It is, yeah.
One of the things that I love to share with my clients, what's yours by divine right can never be taken away. What's yours, but you don't ever have to worry, is this person meant for me, not meant for me? Is there this job, this energy, this process, this project? What's yours by divine right can't somehow be messed up by you not feeling ready to receive it or in some process. And so it's a funny thing because back then, both of you did not know the soulmate connection, which came in on a later date. And I know you want to add something possibly right here.
Well, it was just something interesting you said, Ken. It was like, you got invited to this soul. What was the name of it?
Soul drama.
Soul drama. There's the invitation. You're like, no way.
The hero denies the call.
The hero. That's right.
That's from
There's
1,000 with Joseph
yeah.
Campbell.
That's right. The hero's journey. There's the call to adventure, and then there's the resistance to it right away. Yeah. But that's a big part of life. If you're tuned in, you're going to get those invitations all the time. And so, of course, the natural reaction as a human being, an egoic human being, is to deny that or to not be open to that. But a miracle maker truly is someone who can just sense on a deeper level what those invitations are. And there's a level of discernment, so you're not dragged into it in that way. Although, obviously, it doesn't sound like you could have denied that one anyways. You were brought into that one, which led to such a bounty of life and experience, a deeper level.
Yeah, and to Connie's credit, she said it would be. And I was like, all right, I'm going to try it. All right. They talked me into it.
But then how, as a miracle maker, you can speed up your transformation. You can speed up how you impact the world by saying yes.
Yeah.
Say yes to
And I would not have met you. I would not have met Elizabeth or our beautiful technician here. I would not have met so many people. I wouldn't have met Bradley. There's just so many different things that are all connected into all this. Or Dr. Flanagan, who'd come into my life. But it was really interesting to stay on the track of Elizabeth. I saw her in the crowd, and there she was in this beautiful silver jacket. She looked like a beautiful space alien to me. Like she had just dropped in the middle of this crowd. If you look at the picture of her, everybody's all like in January grays and blacks and blues, and she's there in this silver, with flowers in her hair. In the middle of January or early January, New Year's January, and she just really stood out to me, and I kept in touch with her many times and put invitations to her to maybe explore romance, but she just was never really ready for that. And
I don't mess around when it comes to things like that, and I knew that there was a very deep and profound connection, and when the time came, it would be very intense and serious. So, you know, I don't like having my life be complicated in ways. You know, I want to be really ready for these magical things, and I knew I wasn't ready.
And I felt that too, so I never felt rejected. I was just like, oh, it's not time yet. Okay, I'll just keep checking.
There you go.
It was literally 5
Yeah.
years.
He waited. Ken Sheetz waited 5 years, but there was a signal along the way.
Oh,
I want
yes.
to
Yes.
There
So
was
magical.
such a beautiful. You wound up having this journey as you're now stepping into the spiritual role of seeing and communicating these things that you're experiencing and seeing. Your family is thinking, oh my God, Ken is going crazy. What's happening? There's a whole nother group of people that are coming into your life sharing information that makes sense on a heart level, on an information level, but still, and you're being guided. These signposts come in, and you wind up being guided to Antarctica. You have a feeling and a connection with Elizabeth, but still no real knowing yet.
Well, all along the way, starting from the summer, you know, you two have been a touchstone for me. And the 10-10-10 event, I want to just acknowledge, was the first Dream Shield event that we did as co-hosts. And,
Yes.
and that was so beautiful. And then there was I was told in Italy, just before I even left Italy, because I like in total shock about this vision. And I'm like, oh, well, it was just some kind of pasta thing. Maybe, I don't know. I was just, maybe I was hypnotized. And, you know, so I'm beginning to dismiss it already. And all of a sudden there's this voice that comes in the middle of the night. You know, it's like, Ken? I'm like, okay, yes. That was a very important vision that you had. And you're going to see in time what it means. It's literally a force field to keep the Earth together. And it's been here for the whole time. Every planet has one. And your species is learning how to use it. And you're going to hold events on 10-10-10, 11-11-11, and 12-12-12 to strengthen this Dream Shield. Okay. I've never had an event in my life. How am I supposed to? This was in, you know, May. I had this vision. By 10-10-10, I'm supposed to be throwing planetary meditation events. Well, in 10-10-10, we had the event in Chicago. There was an event in Nashville happening. That was our event. And there was an event in Greece.
Yeah.
This is all just within months, you know, all this just materializing of all these people.
And all the while there's doubt, fear, what's happening. The family is feeling, oh my gosh. And yet you're still taking the steps. You're taking the action. You courageous. There's courage. You saw it. Even though you didn't fully believe it, you started to believe it and you acted on it. And Miracle Makers, there are your soul, to embody your soul's purpose. Your soul knows the bold steps to take. And for each of the bold steps, you have to see it. Yeah. You have to believe it and to act on it. And before, I just want to bring in a story around Native Americans. Before the Native Americans could recognize the ships that were coming in, Columbus's ships, they saw the waves. Because our eyes and our senses can't perceive or see anything we don't fully believe in. This is what quantum physics, this is what science is sharing with us now. Native Americans could see, especially the shaman, could see the waves that were being made by the boats. And eventually looking out there and training the eyes to see what it had not yet learned how to see, staying open to it, staying open to it. The shaman was able to see the boats and then share it with the others, even though the others didn't yet see it. The shaman, because they trusted the shaman, they acknowledged the boats. And so much like the shaman, and much like the peers that you had surrounded yourself with, able to share with those that were coming as guests, those that were just waking up like Elizabeth, like the groups that were gathering at these events, and slowly those in different locations, based on your own ability to build trust wherever you walked prior to that moment. There was an event in Nashville. There's an event in Chicago. There's one in Greece. And there were other events later we found out that were connected to the grid as well.
Yeah, and the same thing happened with 11/11/11. And I went through sort of a learning period where I learned about the fact that we're still human even when we're in this new conscious state. And there was a lot of pettiness and things going on, and we drifted apart a little bit during that stage, but there was still a lot that I learned. And after that 11/11 event, and I got sort of soured on events at that point, I was like, well, for 12/12/12, I'm just going to do an event by myself. I got that soured about it. And so I got guidance through meditation from my spirit guide, Ahom, who was one of the three beings from Italy, Ohom. Ahom is a 7-foot tall blue, like insect-like being from a world called Nectar. I mean, I would get all this over time. They wouldn't give me all that information right away because it would terrify me, I'm talking to a big bug. So I like to kid him, though. He bugs me a lot, about things. And Ahom is always with me, and he's helping me, with this new relationship on a daily basis, because I had a really tough childhood growing up, which was what gave me my drive to be so successful. I had such low self-esteem. I had to be the most successful person in the world, so that I'd have some self-worth. But Antarctica, I was guided to go down there and do meditations about shifting human consciousness, to take all the polarity shift energy that's all in our consciousness, but use it to shift the polarity of human consciousness. Shifting love, and into so many things that are now negative, taking fear and shifting it to love. And so many things really all came down to shifting to love. When I look at all the 24 meditations, one for each time zone of the world, that's what was done. And I raised the money on Indiegogo. I was not allowed by my spirit guide Ahom to just go to my rich buddies in Chicago and raise the money. I had to do a crowdfunder, and I learned about people making small donations to make a vote, essentially, for me to go to Antarctica and do this. And it was just a miraculous place. I didn't want to go. I mean, it was the same thing in a way, Greg. You were talking about the hero declines. I'm like, I'm supposed to go to Antarctica. I want to go to the Bahamas. I don't want to go to Antarctica. That's cold, and how am I going to get there? And literally, these beings know about our internet. And they said, look, just go on to Google, search, and you'll see it's really easy to get to Antarctica. I'm like, come on, but really it is. There's cruise lines that go every day in the summer of Antarctica, which is the winter here. Yeah. And I found this boat company, and made a deal with them to go there. Just raised the money at the last minute, and I got there exactly on 12/12/12 in Antarctica.
Wow.
Exactly.
In the nick of time.
Just in the nick of time. Did all 24 meditations over like 15 hours and filmed them all. And a few of them I've thrown out and remade for the movie. The coolest meditation ever was what I was guided to call the project from day one. It became #1 on Google search result, day one. It's just crazy, really. And there's Deepak Chopra, there's Oprah, there's me. Coolest meditation ever, #1. I've never understood why it became #1, and it's still #1 search result.
It's that knowing that it's not the result, but the process. You were so immersed in the process, and everything was taken care of.
Right.
Up to that embodying your soul's purpose, of course, your soul, our souls are all one and connected. And so, of course, it's going to rank number one.
It just blew
It's
my mind,
embodying your soul's purpose at this point, the old lives falling away. And I know that when you were in Antarctica, that voice spoke again and said, Elizabeth England is your soulmate.
I was coming home from the meditations, and there was just a beautiful sunset over the Drake Passage, which is supposed to be the most crazy ocean in the world, where you have seat belts to hold you in your bed at night. But the oceans were totally calm, and the Enterprise Boat Company said, "You can come back anytime, Mr. Sheetz, and do meditations. You're going to have some amazing effect on our ocean here." Because they had never seen it so calm.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I just said to myself, I never want to do a trip like this alone again at home. Who would be a really good mate for me? And he said, Elizabeth England. And so when I came back, I was all excited. I was like, I get Elizabeth on the phone and have her meet me for cocktails. I got a big surprise to tell her.
Oh, boy.
And why don't you tell what your reaction was?
Well, I said, I'm very flattered. Doesn't seem to be the right time for this right now. Very flattered. I think I was in shock. Yeah, I was in shock for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, here I am. I've broken the bank and I have nothing left and I have to rebuild my life, but I'm all yours.
Yeah,
I don't
I'd
have any
spent every
place to
penny
live.
on Antarctica. I basically, my clothes got stolen in Mexico on the way home after filming Dr. Flanagan and Sheetz and Itza. And I had nothing. I didn't even have, I had like some clothes I just got from the Goodwill that day.
Just sweep you off your
I'm
feet.
like, I was such an attractive package. I don't know why
I was really.
I was sleeping on an air mattress in my buddy's, the guy that did the hip hop song.
Oh my God, he was so
in
funny.
his dining room. Because I wanted to start editing the videos of Antarctica and get them out onto YouTube right away, which I did before assembling them now into the movie. And but how to do that? Well, I had a buddy who let me sleep in his dining room on his air mattress, and that's how I made the coolest meditation ever videos, which have had over 3 million views, and the work that came out of that has had 30 million views. So. So I just kept in touch with Elizabeth, and then I was out here to have a birthday with Ed Asner, who's been at one of my movies and is a friend of mine. And
Friend of mine too.
You saw me on Facebook.
Funny
and I
how
was
the
here.
circles
Yeah.
keep intersecting.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Ed
he's
Asner is a sweet guy.
Been to my house for dinner several
He's
times.
consciously awake actor, and so many important causes that he. And he's in my movie Zach's Machine about a puppy trapped in its apartment on 9/11. He plays the father. And so I was here, and Elizabeth saw I was here, and she called me, and I was like, I'm pretty tired because we had just been out karaoke singing, you guys and me.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I'm pretty tired, Elizabeth,
But I felt a very strong
I said, I'm going to be
this
back,
is
though. I said, I'll see you the next time. But she was really insistent, and we got together at Cafe Gratitude.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then I
Do you want to
invited
tell the story?
Yeah, go ahead. You go.
So I had this very strong feeling that 2015 was an incredible year for me to really begin to shift into a new phase of what I wanted for myself, and so by the time I had seen you at Conscious Life Expo in February, and
that was very nice.
And this was like your third time saying, "Please come to Sedona and visit me," and I said, "Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that soon." So November rolled around, and Ken was here visiting, and I felt this really strong call that I needed to get together with him, and so we got together and we had a really lovely time. And he was staying with our friend Seema. And Seema had encouraged him to stay an extra day for no special reason. She didn't know about me or anything, but her little prompting was the angelic prompting to be able to have that
space.
Breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, come for Thanksgiving. So I went to Sedona on the 23rd of November, and when I arrived, I felt like Sedona was just kissing me, holding me against her heart, and that I was home. And I called up Ken and I said, okay, I'm here, let's get together. And it began a really magical time when I felt more than ever like I was stepping into being a goddess. And he was elevating me and treating me as the goddess, and it's an energy that I've really
I didn't
wanted
elevate
to
anything. I just treated you the way you are.
It was
yeah.
beautiful.
That is beautiful. I love the way
Yeah.
you're describing it.
It was a
though.
beautiful-
I'm glad you felt that.
Yeah, it was a beautiful experience. And we went to dinner on the full moon, and the full moon is very special time. So we went to dinner on the full moon, and on the way back he mentioned, I feel like we should stop here. And he pulled into this parking lot, and it's amazing because in the 2 days, he had already been reading my mind over and over again. And just telepathically tuning into exactly what would please me. And what energies would be activating and empowering for us, So we pulled into this parking lot, and I knew where I was, and I'd never been there before, but I knew where I was. And under the full moon, we walked out into the desert, and we remembered our past life there. And Ken's name was Laughing Skies.
Wow.
And my name was Red Deer, and we had a daughter named Sweetwater.
Wow.
And that was the beginning of a 48-hour period of the full moon that just continued to activate us. And so by Friday morning after Thanksgiving, we really had to figure out what was going on and what we were going to do about it.
Yeah.
And more past life memories were coming in. So it really fell into place very quickly. And I had already been preparing my life to transition to something I didn't know what it was. So it was Sedona, and it was Ken. And then it became very clear to me that when I had my awakening in September of 2009, it was a cosmic trigger for his meeting of a home. And then within another few months, we're at 1111 together. And it began a whole process for us to reunite, to be in Egypt, which is another magical thing, because 3 weeks ago we weren't sure we were going. He said he never wanted to do another great trip alone. And he'd already purchased his ticket to come with you back last year.
Yeah, last year.
And then he said, I'm not
Yeah.
going without Elizabeth, and we just didn't know if that was going to happen.
Yeah.
And you guys made that happen.
And you stepped up, and I've got a check for you for the ticket.
Yay.
The
Yeah.
whole ticket. And
Yeah,
there's
That is a
miracle.
miracle.
Isn't it?
That is
So there's
a
your
miracle.
surprise, because
Oh.
And I put an extra
Miracle.
$500 in there.
Oh, that
because
is
you guys were so sweet to give up your referral fees, and I'm like, well, I want to get that back to you. So.
you felt so strongly that we needed to be on this
We
trip
did,
with you
we
that you
did,
made
we
it
did.
So
happen.
your
You made
faith
the
in
whole.
us,
Yeah.
Oh, we are so.
I'm
You can
tingling
deposit that
from
before you-
head to toe.
It blasted
Amazing
open.
way.
surprise!
It blasted open an abundance circle, and
Yeah.
since you
Yeah.
made that commitment to us, we
Yeah.
got triple what we needed for the
And
trip.
I knew that was going to happen.
We knew
yeah.
that.
Yeah, that
we
was-
I did
felt
know that.
that.
Yeah.
That was so brilliant, though, and
Yeah.
for me as a money guy from Chicago, I was like, this is really cool. They have faith that it's so important for us to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're putting their own self on the risk. I mean, what if something happened to me?
Yeah.
You'd be on the
Yeah.
line for that extra ticket.
Yeah.
So there it is.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
There's miracles on air,
Yeah.
you guys. You're part of the miracle.
Yeah.
And when you commit,
Yeah.
and we've been committed to each of you guys since the beginning
Yeah.
of our
I know.
meeting.
We can
and,
feel it.
one of the things that really, really moves me is sometimes those that you love don't see your love because you're at a vantage point just a few steps ahead. And you stay in that loving, trusting space, and everything catches up eventually to where it is meant to be. This knowing that I have of our predetermined destinies. It's very interesting. The sun with all of the planets around it. The path is predestined. What the path each of those are going to take, predestined. The sun is so magnetic. It's following another predestined path. And everything in the universe is full and whole and complete and follows every law completely. It can't just be true for one thing and not for another thing. So whatever is our central sun within us, and the Egyptians believed that to be the heart, the intelligence, the Chinese ancient beings, whatever lives in our heart, there is a predetermined, it's the housing place of our soul, embodying of our mind, and predetermined when you think with your heart and you notice your free will comes in as well. Your free will is noticing the signs. And being able to notice the signs are key. And you were noticing the signs. We gratefully were able to notice the signs that together, the work, the meditation, the energy that's going to exist on the Nile, in the pyramids, in the temples. And thank you for this special gift. And I want to talk about the gifts that you have for those that are with us on this journey for the coolest meditation ever, this project that you're working on. Can you explain the project just a little bit?
Sure. Well, there's the film, The Coolest Meditation Ever, Antarctica, which is finished and we're raising distribution money for. And Elizabeth's wearing our #1 selling prize.
Our abundance generator. Our portable abundance generator.
It's a 5-sided Martian-inspired pyramid that is in a Fibonacci pattern by scientist Patrick Flanagan. And he's donated a number of these for us to use as prizes. Because I looked at Indiegogo and, well, you can get a T-shirt, you can get, these are really boring movie prizes, And you get the movie, of course, which is exciting, but that's usually way delayed. Now this is a prize someone can have within a matter of weeks. Have a Flanagan medallion, which was our #1 seller on the Neo Neurophone project that raised $1.6 million.
That's incredible. And this medallion, for those that are not able to see it, golden with pyramids.
24-karat gold-plated up over bronze.
If you could see energy like I can, like we can, you would see a spiral of wholeness that's being generated, a spiral of it's like a music note that's being played.
Beautiful.
Speaking of music notes.
Yeah. And Greg has been really keen about having this in the King's Chamber. There we go. This is a pineal gland activator by musical artist Jonathan Goldman.
Yes.
And Jonathan Goldman, as you know, is huge. He's like, he's got his own Pandora channel. He's an amazing sonic healer. And he got information a couple of years ago about a frequency that would activate the pineal gland. And so by having this as another prize, we added that to the Flanagan medallion, the pineal activator.
Amazing tuning for
really
golden, and I can feel it. In fact,
yeah, we'll pass
awakening.
it down to you there. And the beauty of that is that it comes also with a chakra balancing CD, one of his top selling CDs for chakra balancing. So you get that plus the pineal activator, and then Elizabeth's friend James Wanless.
James Wanless, do you know him?
Yes,
the creator of the Voyager Tarot.
Beautiful.
Incredible oracle cards.
Beautiful cards. Wow. Gorgeous.
Yeah. So this is DNA, and then it's the full tarot. But they're not traditional tarot. They're 21st century tarot because it's all art.
It's after the new calendar started. And so the information of the Aquarian age, all of our old tarot, all of the old archetypes have now been updated with the multidimensional awareness of the age of Aquarius.
Yeah, exactly. So we have these 3 titans of spirit science that just have, gotten behind coolestmeditationever.com. Oceanation now behind coolestmeditationever.com. Elizabeth's beautiful. I mean, the world is 2/3 ocean.
Yes.
And if you've been reading my blog, I've been channeling Robin Williams, who has reincarnated as a blue whale, which I didn't even realize was the largest species of whale on Earth and travels the entire oceans, North Pole to South Pole.
And holding the sound frequency, making these beautiful sounds. And we just have another minute or so, and I'd love for you to add in what you'd love to share, Greg.
I'm feeling all of us right now in the Great Pyramid, in the King's Chamber, after our journey together up and down the Nile, visiting the temples, and we're just being blown away and then being activated. And when we leave the pyramid that day, we're all going to look at each other, knowing that we were sitting here a few weeks later or earlier, just like, wow.
Home has told me that we will get a download of the solution to global warming while we're in the pyramid.
Wow,
Yes.
I'm receiving that.
Yes, for the
Wow.
world. And coolestmeditationever.com. These gifts for contributing
Tax-free, tax-deductible, I should say.
tax-deductible contribution to coolestmeditationever.com. Google it. It'll be the first thing that pops up.
Easy to find.
Yeah.
It truly is.
Let's cool
No
the
credit to
planet.
my social media. That was amazing, yeah.
What's great is you get these gifts. These gifts, some of them are going with us into the
Yes,
pyramids
they all are.
of. They all are going into the pyramid of Egypt on the Nile. You will be receiving something that is so magnificent and supporting the coolest meditation ever, supporting the oceans, supporting our one family being nursed, loved, held together in wholeness by the blue beings as well that are guiding this project.
Yeah.
Thank you both
Awesome.
so much.
Thank
for
you
joining
for
us.
Here we
being
are in the-
here.
Love you
this
guys.
beautiful blue room.
Oh, we'll meet you in Egypt.
Thank you.
See you in Egypt.
The past is history, the
Great
future
job.
mystery. This moment